Now, the point that I'm trying to make is that how you come down on this situation doesn't mean you're unethical, and it doesn't make you a criminal. I've always believed that when you engage in harsh interrogation techniques like waterboarding, eventually it comes back to bite you, and it has. It's just not, I think, necessary to win the war. But the people who were devising these interrogation techniques right after 9/11 were not criminals. They were what you said, Mr. Turner. They were Americans who were afraid that the next attack is on its way. And if you're going to be balanced about this, have a good day. If you're really going to be balanced about this, that needs to be told too. And we need to look forward. And Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. Okay? That's part of his legacy. Is he thought the nation was coming apart, and he was right. And he was trying to keep it together. 100,000 Japanese Americans were put in jail for being nothing other than Japanese. Did we go back and try anybody for that abuse? All I am saying is that these interrogation techniques were shared with members of Congress who somehow can't remember what they're told. And to me, that's the best evidence that we were trying to make policy, not violate the law. And Mr. Lubin, I don't believe these people were unethical. I just think they did what Mr. Turner said. They made some mistakes out of fear. And we've learned from those mistakes. And here's my biggest fear, that if we keep doing this, and I bring a CIA agent in that tells the country, let me tell you what I got when I waterboarded somebody, or what I did to this person, let me tell you what I learned, we're going to tear this country apart. I agree with you. But there are other people out there who took a different view and understood the law was subject to different interpretations. And the British may not have tortured people in Northern Ireland, but they turned the people of Northern Ireland against them. That's the downside of what they were doing. They were legally probably not torturing people, I agree with you, Mr. Adcock, but they made a mistake when it came to winning over the people of Northern Ireland. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We have made mistakes in this war. We're going to make new ones. And I don't want to take off the table for this president the ability to do things beyond the Army Field Manual to protect this nation. If we restrict ourselves to the Army Field Manual, shame on us. It is the field manual written for soldiers to make sure they don't get themselves in trouble, not to get intelligence about the next impending attack. Isn't that right, Mr. Turner? It's a guide to the soldier in the field. It was never written to be the end-all and be-all of how you protect this nation. And if we adopt that theory, we've made a huge mistake and learned nothing from the past. And if we put it online, and that's the only way we can interrogate somebody, we're stupid. So let's don't misunderstand the mistakes of the past to the point that we restrict ourselves in the future from being good Americans, but understanding that we're at war. We have put people in Guantanamo Bay that were not enemy combatants. The net was cast too large. And some people have been put there that should have never gone. There's some people have been let go that should have never been let go. My goal is to have a process, Mr. Zelko, that would allow us as a nation to hold our head up high and say no one is in jail at Guantanamo Bay because Dick Cheney said so. The only people that are in jail in Guantanamo Bay are there because the evidence presented to an independent judiciary by our military passed muster with the judicial system. They're there because they're a military threat. And that when you try these people, they're tried not because we hate them, but because of what they did. And that decision will go all the way up to the Supreme Court for review. There is a way to move forward. There's a way to learn from the past. But if we look backward and we get the wrong message, we're going to make us less safe. The message coming from the mistakes of the past are not to unilaterally surrender, not to treat these people as common criminals, because they are certainly not. The message from the past is when you abide by American principles, you're stronger than your enemy. When you go backward from those principles that come back to bite you. But the principle that I'm advocating is an aggressive, forward-leaning, hit them before they hit us attitude. Find out what they're up to, find out where they're getting their money, and keep them on their back foot. And we can do that, Mr. Savan, without having to go back to the Inquisition.
I totally agree with you.
And I am so afraid that what we're doing here today is going to chill out the legal advice that's to come in the future, and that we're putting men and women at risk of having their reputations ruined in a prosecution or civil lawsuits who did nothing but try their best to defend this nation. Thank you all.
It's not a bad policy, it's a crime, Senator. We want the rule of law for everyone.
Member of the interrogation of Abu Zubaydah team about the techniques that were employed.